What is up? What is up? What is up, y'all? Thank you all for being here for another YouTube live stream on a Friday afternoon, y'all. It is 12:06 p.m. here on the West Coast. And I am thankful for each and every one of you who have chosen to be here today to participate in this conversation. Y'all know how it goes down on the live. It feels like it's been forever since I've been live before y'all on this platform, on them folks' platform, but we understand what it is. I hope y'all are joining the Patreon to participate in the furtherance of conversation that we are trying to have over there, the community that we are building over there. Link is in the description and pinned to the top of the chat. Meet us in Patreon so we can further the discussion of topics like this today. Y'all, I was unsure whether I wanted to even discuss this, and I had a long talk with God. Some of y'all call it prayer. But I communed with my Lord and Savior because I wanted to be able to present this in a way that people could understand where I was coming from. People could feel my heart, because this is so controversial that people are taking sides. People are trying to make this a racial situation. People are they're coming at this from all kinds of directions. And I said, Lord, please guide my words. I'm not going to include the people in my prayer. I'm not going to include the people in our conversation, God, but please allow me to speak in such a way that it might touch somebody. It might help somebody. I'm glad that you all are here on this afternoon, in the noontime on the West Coast. And we like to take a little bit of time out in the beginning of our live streams to thank those who are supporters of this channel, those who are YouTube members. I'm going to encourage each and every one of y'all to move your membership over to the Patreon at this point, where I feel like I can give you something back for your economic contribution to what's going on here. Y'all keep it free for the free for everybody else. And we appreciate each and every one of y'all being here. Let's take a look at the chat and see what's going on. We got our moderators are in the building, y'all. We got Bernie Miranda in the house, Amethyst Angel in the house. Happy Mac is here. Stacy Cedric is here. We love and appreciate all of y'all for checking in, for being active in the chat. And we're going to get to it. In this situation, I want to start with this. Let me go on in and share this screen here. See if we can get it up. Boom. Nope, that ain't what we want. Boom, that's what we want. Okay, let's get to this screen here, because we want to start with a reporter's analysis of this story. This is a tragedy, y'all. Look, don't matter how you coming at this story, no matter what angle you take in, what perspective you feeling in your heart, this is a tragedy. This is a situation where aggression met. Let me roll it back. Slow down. Gerald, slow down. This is where aggression met ignorance. It's always a recipe for disaster. So instead of me opining on it initially, let's start with someone else's reporting from the New York Post. Let me double check here and make sure y'all can see. Okay, y'all can see what I see. Let's go back to it. Title of the story from the New York Post says, Texas high school football star Austin Metcalf stabbed in the heart. Stabbed in the heart. Left to die in twin brothers' arms at track meet. Now, this is the dad's account. Look at the title, y'all. This is the dad's account. The two sides of every story, two sides of every coin, two wings on every bird. But this is where we're going to start. This is our starting point where we can launch a discussion. And I hope that y'all meet. Excuse me, y'all. Sorry. Hope that y'all meet me in the Patreon so that we can continue the discussion after this live stream. Okay? So let's get to this story. It says a Texas high school football star was stabbed in the heart and died in the arms of his twin brother after a fight over a seat at a track meet, his heartbroken family says. It's a tough story, y'all. And I find as I scanned these interwebs, this internet, certain people are taking positions on this and opining on this and trying to stoke certain emotions of people on this internet. And let me tell you, y'all, I don't know if y'all know it or not, but certain people on this internet are crazy. But people profit from the craziness that goes on in these spaces. So I see people who are moving forward and opining on this circumstance and trying to stir up the foolishness. It's a bad thing for society. It's a bad thing for America. It's a bad thing for these families who are having to deal with this. One person whose life has been taken, another person who took that life, whose life is going to be behind bars for the foreseeable future. Let's continue. Austin Metcalf was attending a track and field championship between other area schools at, I can't even pronounce that, Kuykendall Stadium in Frisco, Texas, when the fatal attack happened on April 2nd. Yo, this is fresh news and it has caught fire on the internet. Metcalf, a junior at Memorial High School outside Dallas, was in his team's tent when a fight broke out between the teen and 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony, cops say. This is the police report, y'all. You're getting a reporter who's reporting on what he's seen in the police report. This is what cops are saying. A fight broke out. Anthony, a 17-year-old senior at Centennial High School, just 5 miles away, just a nearby high school right down the road, was allegedly told he was sitting in the wrong seat. He then allegedly drew a knife and pierced Metcalf through the heart. The dead teen's father, Jeff Metcalf, told NBC Dallas Fort Worth. It's a tragic story, y'all. I don't care what side you own. I don't care how you listen. Ain't no other way to feel about it. The way I see it, a young man, a 17-year-old, lost his life, taken by another 17-year-old. People are trying to put their own emotions into the situation, trying to put their own narratives into the situation and say, oh, well, it's black and white. It's a racial situation. No, the father came out and said, don't make it racial. That's not what this was. Okay, let's continue reading the report. Before I opine, because y'all, I had to pray. Before I even pushed the live button, I had to pray. Story says, quote, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, an emotional Hunter Metcalf told WFAA. WFAA. I looked at my brother and I'm not going to talk about the rest. I tried to help him. The heartbroken brother said that neither of the siblings had ever met Anthony prior to Wednesday's meet. They never even met this dude. Never seen him before, didn't know nothing about him. No history. With the whole fight taking just seconds. This whole situation, everything escalating, going from 0 to 100 in just a few seconds. Quote, it really was under 30 seconds, this altercation, Hunter said. I never met this kid in my life. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless, Hunter recalled. And my brother stepped in and said, you need to move, Hunter added. And Anthony's like, making me move. Ooh, okay. Making me move. That's touchy, y'all. That's a challenge. Y'all, if you follow me for some time on this platform, y'all know I'm a 2A advocate, which means I'm pro self-defense. But this situation is a little different. And I'll save my little opinion for after we get through this. Let's get through it. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move," Hunter added. And Anthony's like, "Make me move." All of a sudden, he grabbed his backpack, the brother said. Just seconds into the tussle, there was a tussle. Hunter said Anthony pulled a knife and stabbed his brother in the chest. He, y'all know how dangerous blades can be. As I mentioned, I'm a 2A advocate. I talk about 2A stuff all the time in my personal life, in my private life, with people who I love and adore and want to survive. I share information with them because I want them to survive any encounter. If you out there in the public space and evil might come upon you, I need you to be able to survive the encounter. I need you to be equipped to do the right thing so that you can survive, so that you can defeat evil. So what we dealing with in this situation is crazy. This is crazy. Teenagers, y'all kids. Let's see if we can make it down to the end, because this brother is saying, look, just seconds into the tussle, it was over. Just seconds. It was done. Okay. I think this might be the last part that we need to present in order to state our opinion. Quote, they were twins, identical twins, and his brother was holding on to him, trying to make it stop bleeding. And he died in his brother's arms, Jeff Metcalf recalled. Hunter Metcalf called his parents to tell them about the stabbing, with their father rushing to find Austin in a gurney, not breathing. Nah, bro, he poked your heart. He stabbed your heart, your life source, that thing that pumps your blood throughout your body. He stabbed your heart through your chest. You're done. It's crazy. It's unfortunate. And y'all can see right here on your screen. Let me scroll up so you can see it. This is the mugshot of the stabber, of the accused source. This is the mugshot of the boy. And I say that knowing that some people going to take that the wrong way, but this is a boy. He's 17 years old. He's not an adult, but some of y'all look at black men, black bodies. You look at these young men and you say, well, he big enough to be an adult. Well, he's 6 foot, right? Well, he got a size 15 shoe. Well, we should treat him as an adult. Listen, I get so much ridicule on this platform and others for taking so much time and spending so much energy on young brothers like this. But I used to be one, y'all. So judge me if you will, but I have a soft spot for people like this because I used to be one. I used to be a knucklehead. I used to be stupid. I used to be a dumb black teenage boy. I ain't never stabbed nobody in the chest. No. I ain't never shot nobody. Nope. I ain't gonna tell you I ain't never shot at nobody, but I ain't never shot nobody. And let me just go ahead and spend a few seconds here while I'm there. Let me park right here for a second. There is a man. named Douglas Horngrad. I need you to note this man's name because I'm going to preach it till the day I die. This man who my father, who stepped in for me during my wayward teenage years, he hired this man to represent me, to defend me. And I remember Douglas Horngrad. I remember sitting in his office in that high rise in San Francisco, and this man saying, "We got to keep a felony off your record. You cannot have a felony." This man is a walking law book, in my opinion. And I mentioned his name because if you ever got a problem in California, I need you to hit up Douglas Horngrad, because this man saved my life by 35 years ago. And I need you to know his name. He was a prosecutor for decades, a protege of Melvin Belli, legendary legal mind, legal scholar Melvin Belli in the Bay Area. I don't know how my father did it, but he hired this man to save my life as a teenager, and he did just that. And when I entered law school decades later in life, I hit him up. I said, "Hey, man, I thank you for doing what you did for me. I thank you for saving my life. I thank you for being a representative of justice in my life. I'm going in the right direction now, and it is because of you that I'm going in this direction." He follows me today, y'all, on the X platform. It is incredible to me that someone like that would look back upon me and say, "Hey, I'm interested in what you got to say. I'm interested in where you're going." Now, mind you, let me put this out there. He's a flaming liberal. he is so left wing, y'all. He probably don't agree with nothing I repost on the X platform. But if you are in a situation in California, I suggest you hit that man up. And I'll just leave it at there for now. Let's get back to this story. Says here, whew, this story is tough, man. They were twins, identical twins, and his brother was holding on to him, trying to make it stop bleeding, and he died in his brother's arms. Jeff Metcalf recalled. This is the father recalling on news stories. He's been making the rounds doing the media circuit. Hunter Metcalf called his parents to tell them about the stabbing, with their father rushing to find Austin on a gurney, not breathing. Quote, "I could see all the blood. I saw where the wound was, and I was very concerned." Yeah. A chest wound and the heart area, all that blood. Yeah, I could see why you were concerned as a father. I could see it. I could feel it. I can internalize it. So I had to find this brother, and we rushed to the hospital. So I had to find his brother, his twin brother, y'all. These were identical twins. Can you imagine? Identical twins watching your twin brother die in your arms. A piece of you is dying in your arms. You are never going to get that back. And we prayed. Y'all, I wish right now in this moment, I wish I had read this story first, because this is kicking me in the heart right now. And we prayed. And it's God's plan. I don't understand it, but they weren't able to save him. This is murder, Jeff Metcalf said. The teen was pronounced dead at a local hospital. Let me scroll it up here so y'all can see, because this YN, this young one, this young bull, this young buck, He put himself in the crosshairs of society to be a part of this conversation. I'm not even going to read nothing else. The winning walk with Christina. Thank you for being here. Put some heartbreak emojis in the chat because she understands. Bernie Miranda understands, says, my son is 18. This is stuff that prayer is necessary for, Bernie. Let me go ahead and opine on your emoji. We need to pray about this kind of stuff because what in the world? J Lord says, Spirit of God is lying. I need you, J Lord. Listen, y'all, I knew this was going to be a controversial topic. So I restricted the chat to people who have been subscribers for at least 30 days. So understand that J Lord in the chat, I don't want to misinterpret you. I don't want to misunderstand you. But your post in the chat says the Spirit of God is lying. Listen, tread lightly. I don't know how long you've been around here. It's obviously been over 30 days, but my mods be modding if you get too far out of line. And let me just say, you walking the line, you calling God a liar? In my chat, you calling oh, you a bold one. But okay. Let's see if we can pull up something else, y'all. J Lord, be careful. Did you just call God a liar in my chat? There are some other things that we should cover. And we're going to get to it. We're going to share. We're going to make a presentation. That threw me off. I hope you get your life together, J Lord, because calling God a liar is something I would never do. And the fact that you felt so comfortable to do it in my chat, I am uncomfortable with that. But we're going to let you live. Chat, mods, let them live. Maybe they can clarify in the chat so that we can get some understanding. But before I opine on this situation, y'all, yeah, winning walk with Christina, I feel you 100%. The only liar is the devil. So what are we saying? Who's calling God a liar in the chat? What are you on? What energy are you on? What are you bringing to the chat talking about God is a liar? Hold on. And I knew this kind of stuff would come up, y'all. This is a very controversial topic. It just is. There are so many elements that permeate American society. And I know all of our watchers, all of our viewers, all of our listeners are not from America, but understand the perspective that we are trying to present to you today. I understand it. Okay, thank you, Bernie. Bernie got me right, y'all. Says he was talking about someone in the chat who has that name. Okay. Thank you, Bernie. I appreciate you. I respect your correction. I thank you for being here and helping me out as we traverse this controversial topic. Thank you, Bernie. Love you to life, sis. So we're going to play a little bit of something, y'all. Because this topic has been so controversial in the community that I didn't even know whether I wanted to present it on them folks' platform or not, because I knew it would be problematic. And I'm seeing it from a certain way. And I wanted to give you all the information that I could give you before I presented my opinion, because I assume on this platform right here, this right here, I assume you all tune in to get my opinion, and I'm going to give it to you. But I want you to look at certain things that were presented on this platform. Matter of fact, no, let me pull this back. Let me go here first. Oh, this dude right here, Matt Walsh, y'all. I listen to Matt Walsh every now and then. because I like to get opinions and perspectives from all over the place. I don't know. I want to know what everybody's talking about, what everybody's thinking. And this is in this age of social media, everybody's going to put their opinion out on social media. They're going to find a platform where they feel like they can say what they want to say. They can get some traction. Okay, so I listen to Matt Walsh, knowing that he's a bomb chucker, knowing that he will throw a bomb into a crowd just to create a controversy, to put a spotlight on himself. Well, let's take a look at what he's talking about here in this X post that he put up. Let me see if I can get, there we go, right there. Okay, I got it, y'all. Can y'all see it? Looks like y'all can see it. Says here, this is a post that he put up on the X platform. I'm streaming live on X now, y'all. So if you're on X, you can subscribe. I don't post much, but I do repost quite a bit. Says, Matt Walsh says, if I told you that a young man stabbed another young man to death for telling him that he was in the wrong seat, and then I told you that one young man in this altercation was white and the other was black, and then I asked you to guess the race of the assailant, oh, every single person would know the answer immediately. Young black males are violent to a wildly, outrageously disproportionate degree. Matt Walsh. That is so inflammatory. I wish you hadn't said it. I wish you hadn't done it, but I know why you do it, because you're paid to do it. Young black males are violent to a wildly, outrageously disproportionate degree. That's just a fact, he says. I wouldn't say it. He says it. That's just a fact. We all know it. And it's time that we speak honestly about it, or nothing will ever change. Thank you, Spirit of God, empowered encouragement, for being here. Says, my son knows these kids. Austin broke Mellow phone some time back. Then they had a beef. Oh, there's history, right? Of course, of course, of course. Spirit of God, empowerment, encouragement. Yes. Austin and Hunter threatened to jump him and Mellow. This was an ongoing beef, not something new. I knew it had to be deeper. I didn't know that information. And I'm going to take you at your word in the chat. I'm not going to take it as truth, because we on a live stream, right? You could be a random voice from anywhere, right? But it sounds like you got a little bit of information that aligns with my thinking in this instance. It's unfortunate, but let me go ahead, y'all. Before I even opine on this, let me tap into this other video. Because I need y'all to get a little piece of this. We see that Matt Walsh, a prominent right-wing personality, is trying to stoke racism in this instance, telling you that black boys are just inherently aggressive and inherently violent, just like they monkeys, like they animals, like they less than human. Is this what you're promoting out here, sir? And here you have me. Y'all tuned in to me to get my opinion. I ain't gave it yet, but I'm going to. Somebody that you pay attention to in 2025, who used to be one of these ignorant black boys, who try to put myself forward to you, Semper Fi Jesus. Try to put a persona before you so that you know that you don't have to lose hope in these little boys. I know you think they're grown men because they're 6 feet tall. 6 feet tall, 280 pounds, size 15 shoe. You look at them and you think they're monstrous. No, they're boys. If you sat them down and talked to them, you would understand it. But a lot of people out there can't see past their stature because you've been conditioned to see them in a certain way based on their physical features. If you were to take one of these boys from the crowd and pull them aside and set them down, you would say, oh my goodness, this ain't nothing but a kid. Matter of fact, not only is he a boy, but he a boy who can't even read at grade level. Spirit of God empowered encouragement said, I live in Frisco. You right there in the middle of it. You understand what it is. Let's get, thank you, God, for guiding my words. I hope someone is able to feel my heart and understand where I'm coming from in this discussion. Let's talk about a little more of this situation. Before we go further, I want to share a little something with you. It's just a mashup that I caught on the YouTube situation. I may not go through all of it, but I did want to share it. Let's go there.
He brought a knife to the track meet. Nah, you can miss me with all the comments talking about, oh, well, something that was said must have caused him to be outraged. What was said in the argument? No, you brought a knife to a track meet and you sat in your opponent's section. You don't do that unless you're looking for a problem, if you're not looking for an issue, if you're not looking for controversy. If you don't know what I'm talking about, a 17-year-old track runner from Texas, Austin Metcalf, was brutally unalived at a track meet and passed away in his twin brother's arms when he was attacked by 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo sat in the section for the Memorial High track runners and was mouthing off behind them. And when Austin turned around to ask, who are you? What are you even doing here? He said his name was Mello and he wanted to sit there. And that's when Austin said, well, you're in the wrong section, because he was bothering his teammates because he was in fact in the wrong section.
They made him go away when they were doing CPR on him, but he was there when he was stabbed and he was holding, I guess, the wound to keep it from, he was trying to save his brother. But I think he said he saw when he took his last breath and before the CPR came back in. So for what I heard, he was unresponsive for 5 minutes. They were able to revive him a little, but I think it was too little too late.
There was this kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, you need to move. And he's like, make me move. Also grabbed his backpack. This kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. So yeah. Just that's just what I saw. And I try to help him, but
Frisco ISD reached out to us in the last hour, in fact, telling us that the suspect was at the track meet yesterday where the stabbing happened, and he was there actually as a member of the opposing team.
That information is coming to us as Austin Metcalf's family is grieving, but also asking and raising some questions. Our JD Miles has been on this one for us today. You're live at 5, JD. I know you spoke with the victim's father about concerns over the lack of security at that meet, but what else did he tell you?
Well, he told us a lot, Nicole and Doug, about his grief that is still very much raw and very much recent that he's dealing with as he recovers from this terrible tragedy. Frisco ISD, meanwhile, tells us they had 5 certified athletic trainers at the stadium who all responded to what happened. The victim's family also telling us the day after that they have questions about whether more could have been done to prevent what happened. The photos of Austin that hang in his home are now all Jeff Metcalf has to remind him of one of his twin sons. But he tells me he found some comfort today from a dream.
He came to me and said, it's okay.
Does that give you comfort?
God gives me comfort.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for my faith, I wouldn't be here.
Metcalf spoke to us while still in shock over what happened just a mile away at this stadium, where Austin's twin brother Hunter saw him stabbed in the chest.
My other son, who was there, was holding his hands on the hole, trying to save his life. And he told me, Dad, I looked at him. In his eyes, he was gone. He wasn't breathing.
Hundreds filled a Frisco church last night remembering Austin, who was a standout on the Memorial High School football team. Carmelo Anthony has been arrested and charged with murder, also a standout student athlete at Centennial High School. The victim's father grieves while starting to question whether the school district did enough to protect his son.
If there is a precedent or some precursor that maybe this could have been prevented, I don't know. I am concerned with the lack of security. How does someone bring a knife to a track meet?
Police have not said what led to the stabbing, but Austin's father says it started when his sons and members of the Memorial High School track team questioned Anthony about why he was standing near them instead of his own school's team.
Each high school has their own section to set in. They went to set under the Memorial tent. Mm-hmm. They heard this individual behind them speaking, and they turned around and said, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm Mello." And he had a Centennial tracksuit on. And they said, "You're in the wrong spot. You need to go sit with your team." And then it escalated.
And we are told at last check.
Did y'all hear the story? Did y'all hear the scenario? That is the father of the deceased twin son. Both families are destroyed. Bernie Miranda, thank you for putting that in the chat. I agree with you. I agree with you. Fawnley Green, very sad. No matter who, what, where, may God comfort them. I agree with you. This is a sad story. Kids, teenagers. So we have a situation, and let me go ahead and start my opinion piece, because I'm going to let y'all go. We ain't going to hold y'all here for all day. It's a sad story. It resonated with me because these are the brothers that I try to reach, the brothers that are willing to crash out and sacrifice their whole life before they even understand what life is. Y'all think because some of these young men are 6 feet tall, 6'5", in many cases, and 200 plus pounds with these big old feet, and y'all think they grown-ups. But if you sat them to the side for just a second, just a few minutes, and had a conversation, you would understand that these are boys. It ain't their fault that they look like giants. It ain't their fault that they have certain athletic abilities. But we live in a society where their mental capacity don't keep up with their physical appearance. At 17, this brother's walking around at a track meet of all places. Y'all know how, if you ain't part of the track team, I used to run track in high school. I understand it. If you ain't part of the track team, you don't know how boring a track meet would be. Why would you even be there? Well, if you wanted a blackity blacks, and understand this, let me put this out there, because some people are going to accuse me of certain things, but I talk about the blackity blacks just like I talk about the whitey whites, because I want y'all to tune into this channel and understand that I am attempting to be fair. In my opinion, there is a black kid here at a track meet. They said he had a tracksuit on from a certain high school. Maybe he was supposed to be there. Maybe he was part of the track team. That is unclear at this point. But he was sitting in a space in the bleachers. Don't nobody own the bleachers, bro. The bleachers are open to anyone and everyone. And mind y'all, I'm here in California. I've been to Texas. I got family in Texas. I understand that Texas rain is a little different than what we get out here. We get a little sprinkle situation. It dumps cats and dogs, as the old reference goes. It dumps cats and dogs in Texas. So it began to rain, according to what I've read about this story. It began to rain, and the brother scooted up under the umbrella, the tent of a certain school. Well, bro, you ain't near your school. You ain't near your tent. Maybe you go to one of them broke schools who ain't even got a tent. But you out there and it begins to rain and you scoot up under this tent of this school, and here goes this jock. Somebody in the chat said there was some history between these two. Okay, that's going to come out in court documents, because listen, let me put this out there. When I look at this case, I put on my legal hat, right? My tinfoil legal hat, and I say, ooh, I love to prosecute this case. And then I look at it from the other perspective and I say, ooh, I love to be defense counsel in this case. It's one of them ones, y'all. You can't call it from the get-go. I think that it's been overcharged, because my understanding is that he's been charged with first-degree murder in Texas. First-degree murder? Whew. Okay, I understand. That calls for premeditation, but you're going to have to prove it. And I've heard a little something in the statements that have come forward that it may be provable, but it may be defensible. Oh, it's a good case here. From a legal perspective, it's a tragic case from a humanity perspective, from a family perspective, from a father perspective. I've seen videos. Oh, no, let me clarify. I'm sorry, I misspoke. I've seen photos of this young black boy holding a Draco on the internet. Let me tell you something. This boy's 17 years old, right? I'm a father, right? I got 6 kids. 4 of them are boys. Let me tell you, one just turned 18 a couple weeks ago. Just turned 18. Let me tell you something, because I trust y'all. And I believe y'all trust me. That's why you here listening to me blabber on the internet. This boy had photos holding a Draco on the internet. Do you understand something, y'all? I was a father at 16 years old. Been there for every day of my children's lives. Ain't never went nowhere. My sons are in their 30s now that I'm in the 50 club. If I saw one of my sons in the 30s post a picture on social media today, with a Draco on the internet, boy, I'm going to pull up to your crib. I'm pulling up to your house, going to park in your driveway. Leave some skid marks. Skirt! We need to have a conversation. No, I can't put you over my knee. No, I can't put you on timeout. No, I can't make you stand in the corner. But we need to talk, because you on this internet holding a Draco. Listen, y'all, my boys, my oldest in his 30s, let alone a 17-year-old. Bro, what are you doing with a gun on the internet? This is where I go. Thank you, Fawnley Green. Let me put that on the screen. Thank you, Fawnley Green. Because I support dads. Look, I'm about to do a video. When I get off here, matter of fact, thank you, Fawnley Green. You have inspired me today. I'm going to do that video on that blackity black daddy who left his kids in the McDonald's. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So let's get to that after this is over. But listen, I would pull up to my 30-plus-year-old sons today, be like, bro, what are you doing on the internet with a Draco? Here's this 17-year-old trying to be hard, trying to be cool. Listen, I've been there, bro. But when I was there, it was decades ago. And the thing that was cool then is nothing in comparison to what is cool now. I get it. I get the progression. I understand it. And this is why I operate in this space, y'all. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all being here, each and every one of y'all supporting. This is why I put these messages out here, because I want y'all to know there are people out here who don't know that there are Black men who are out here advocating for these things. Listen. Thank you, Salaptor. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for your support. Always. Salaptor been with us, been rocking out with us for a long time. I appreciate you and your support. You got to step back a couple steps and look at this situation and say, why would this dude bring a knife to a track meet? Y'all, track meets are boring. I used to run track, y'all. I understand it. I've been there. I know what's going on. And even before I was able to participate on that level, I used to watch my older brother run track. That was my inspiration. I used to see, okay, this is how it's done. This is what's going on. He was faster than me. He was smaller than me, but he was faster than me. I used to look at the situation and say, okay, this is what track is all about. I used to look at him play football. This is what football is all about. That's where I got my encouragement, my inspiration. So I understand people who can look at a situation like this, but I say track meets are boring. Why would you show up to a track meet if you weren't involved? Why would you show up to a track meet with a knife? But here's the other side of this story. Let me get to it. Let me take this off the screen because I pulled that video from another YouTube creator. I don't want nobody to get bent out of shape, nobody get mad. But listen. This man, stop it. You went the wrong way right there. You took a left turn. That ain't where you were supposed to go. Roll it back. This boy of 17 years old took a seat under the umbrella of another school, of which he was not a part, but it was raining in Texas. It's dumping in Texas. He scoots over a little piece to get under the umbrella of the school, and somebody pulls up to you. You got to understand, y'all, if you ain't never been around athletes, if you ain't never been around young teenage boys full of testosterone, full of energy, full of masculinity and machismo, you might not understand it, but this boy pulled up and said, hey, bro, why are you sitting here under our umbrella in that other team's tracksuit? You ain't supposed to be here. This is the part that kills me about this whole story. This is the part that kills me, Salaptor. This is the part that kills me, Bernie Miranda, about this whole story. Somebody pulled up to this boy, sitting up under this umbrella saying, I don't want to get wet. I don't want to get soaked. Let me just scoot over a little piece under this umbrella. Somebody pulled up to him. Now, he might have been sitting around some cheerleaders. He might have been sitting around some of the track team's girlfriends, or some of they just little friends, and pulled up and said, hey, what you doing around here, bro? You got the wrong suit on to be under our umbrella. Why don't you move out the way? Why don't you get out the way? This ain't your space. Go on over there where your school belongs. Listen, that's where I draw the line, because I'm saying, hey, this is a situation, bro, where you are overreaching in a way that I never would. I understand you feeling yourself. You might have just been down there on the track. You might have just won your race. You might have just won your heat. You might have just been getting off the track saying, huh, I'm feeling myself, but you sit next to my girl. What is going on here? Somebody in the chat said, oh, there's a look, Spirit of God empowered encouragement said, I'm in this area. I understand what's going on. Cool. We're going to let you rock out in the chat. But this brother, for some reason, approached this white boy. Let's get it in perspective. Because people trying to make it racist, make it racial. This white boy approached this black boy who was simply sitting there under a tent. Please, God, guide my words and let people receive what I'm trying to convey. The boy was sitting there, unbothered, even with a knife in his bag, a knife that I feel like he shouldn't have had, a knife that I feel like he was wrong to have in his possession, that he never should have had at the track meet at all. Seemed like to me, based on the information I got, he was sitting there with it in his bag, saying, hey, I don't want to get wet. Someone approached him with some machismo, with some adrenaline. Challenged the man and said, what are you doing here? You under this tent that is of my team. You don't belong here. Get up out this space. And according to reports that I've heard, that I've read, this little young blackity black, dumb as he may be to even have a knife in that incident, because let me tell you something. Let me interject here and say this. If you didn't have a knife and someone approached you in that way, and he said, I'm going to give you my macho and you going to give him back some macho, and you dust his tail off in them bleachers, well, he messed around and found out, didn't he? But they don't do that like they used to do when I was 17, y'all. They don't operate like that anymore. Where you would say, hey, we're going to put up these fisticuffs. We're going to throw them blows and we're going to see who come out in the end as the victor or the victim. It's not how they operate anymore. I'm surprised. Listen, when they told me based on these news articles that this boy had a knife, I said, oh, I'm surprised. He didn't have a Glock with a switch. Yeah, and y'all can blame me for that 100%. Y'all can put that all on me. But I read so much news, I take so much information that's how I felt about it. I'm surprised he didn't have a blick in that backpack. He only got a knife. But evidently he was capable and efficient enough with that knife to take a young man's life who did not deserve it. I don't care, y'all. The story I got was that the dude walked up, said, you sitting in the wrong place. The black boy said, bro, don't put your hands on me. And I listen. I'm a 2A advocate. I understand that 100%. Say what you want. Do what you want. Don't put your hand. Don't touch me, bro. So we can put some of this on this where we're gonna go left. This is where some of y'all gonna tune out, because we could go left and say we can put some of this on this man saying, I am the police of these bleachers. I am the security guard, top flight security of these bleachers. You are not going to sit up under the tent of my school when you don't belong here. You belong to another school. Get your blackity black tail up out of here. And now all that ego, which is foolishness, all that testosterone, which is foolishness, drove you to the point where you put your hands on another person. And according to the report that I read, the man said, bro, I agree with you, Bernie. Said knives are more personal. Listen, I agree with you, Bernie. We might stress that out and have a whole discussion, Bernie, on a whole nother live, because I agree with you on that. Knives are more personal than guns. Yes. Yes. But here you have a situation where a man says, get up out of here, bro. You in the wrong section. Get your blackety black tail over there. The father says it wasn't racial. Okay, some people saying it is. We don't know. Get up out of our umbrella situation. We are shading our team from the rain. This ain't got nothing to do with you. You on another team. Get up out of here. Bro says, listen, I ain't going nowhere. Don't touch me, bro. And it harkened me back to a point in my childhood that I hope all of y'all who listen to me, follow me, have been through. If you haven't, take note of this, because this is what mothers used to tell their kids back in my day. Keep your hands to yourself. Ain't had nothing to do with race. No, this wasn't a blackity black or a whitey white issue. Mothers used to tell their kids, keep your hands to yourself. According to the story I read, the brother said, bruh, say what you want, don't touch me. And here you have a jock, an athlete, a football player, a track star who's saying, bruh, you under my tent. You don't belong here. I'm about to remove you. He met the wrong one that day. He met the wrong one that day. And this young Carmelo Anthony, as his mother and father named him, because y'all know whenever I see situations like this, the first thing I'm going to do is say, where your daddy at? This young boy at 17 is crashing out and giving his life up. Where's your daddy? Who raised you? Why do you have this mentality? This is why I focus on this demographic, y'all. Well, it turns out his daddy was there in some capacity, because he's in the news media making statements and he's saying, my son is not what y'all have portrayed him to be. Well, at least you were there to make a statement. Because in many situations that we come across like this in the news media, we don't know where the daddy is. We never even find out where the daddy is, but at least his father was somewhere around to make a statement and saying, my son was a good student, had a 3.7 GPA. He wasn't a bad kid. Well, you a whole lie, in my opinion. let me just put that out. Okay, Dad, I'm glad that you were able to say something, but this is foolishness that you putting out here, because why did your son have a whole knife at a track meet? You see, y'all, had I been able to take in this circumstance, this situation, this story, and say a boy had a confrontation at a track meet that he didn't agree with, and he laid hands, let's say he put some Sugar Ray Leonard hands, some Mike Tyson hands on that boy, laid him out. I said, okay, bro, you messed with the wrong one that day, you found out. But this is the cowardly situation that we are forced to put up with in the community when these folks run around. This is lightweight. You run around with a blade, with a knife. These kids run around with Dracos in their bags, y'all. They run around with Glock switches. They run around with all kinds of weapons that will take you out. Our sister Urban Southern Cookie in the building. Thank you for being here, sis. We appreciate you. Like, man, you went out by knife. But so many of these young black males are leaving this earth based on situations that could have been avoided. Innocents having their lives taken by young black men with switches, and when they hit that switch, that thing go and they can't control it. So bullets go everywhere. They might go into your window. They might go into your house. They might go into your car. And people are losing their lives over foolishness. So I understand it. Don't think that because I'm saying certain things that I don't understand. I want both sides to understand that I want both sides to get it and get that I understand it from both sides, both perspectives. I could argue this case from either side. I could be a prosecutor or a defense counsel in this case. And I need you to see that. But this is what gets my goat. This is what grinds my gears when you have content creators like this. Like Matt Walsh, who says, if I told you that a young man stabbed another young man to death for telling him that he was in the wrong seat, and then I told you that one young man in this altercation was white and the other was black, and then I asked you to guess the race of the assailant, every single person would know the answer immediately. That's, man, you just stoking racism, bro. You just stoking racism. What if I told you that somebody shot up a school? And I asked you to guess the race, what would you say? What if I told you that one person was smoking crack and the other person was sniffing cocaine? What race would you assign to it? That don't matter. These people are out here trying to divide us on racial lines. This is not even important to the conversation. This is not a racial issue, and I'm glad the father of the deceased son came out and expressed that in the news. He's like, man, y'all out here trying to make this a racial issue. This is not racial at all. It's a father who just lost a son of twin boys. Y'all, they was born at the same time. They looked alike, and one died in the arms of the other. Father and the mother clearly were no longer together. That don't mean the father didn't feel for his boys. I looked at him, I watched him, I listened to him. The boy ran up on the wrong one that day. Let's look at it for what it is. Can we be real? At least on this platform, can we at least be real for a second? Listen. I always got it on me. Always. I always got it on me. But I ain't never gonna press you. I'm not that one, bro. That's not even my presentation. You're not gonna get that out of me. If you listen, I've been on airplanes where people was in my seat. Yeah. I need y'all to understand what I'm talking about, where I'm going with this. I've been on airplanes boarding the plane where people was in my assigned seat. Do you think I said something to that person? No, that's not me. I went to the stewardess. Hey, Mrs. Ma'am, this is my ticket right here. Look at what it say and look at that seat right there. I think this is my assigned seat. This is what we got going on. Somebody is sitting in my seat. Can you handle it? Because it's not my job to handle it. It's her job to handle it. I agree with you, Urban Southern Cookie. It's sad that people tie crimes to race and stereotypes. That's what it is. It's stereotypes. And it frustrates me when people of consequence, people with a following, people who have social media clout want to get out here and put forth these narratives to get people riled up, to get people stirred up. Man, this ain't what it is, bro. Just stop doing this. You have a situation here, white, black, in between, indifferent, whatever. You have a situation where two dummies met up with each other in an unfortunate encounter. Because the 17-year-old that was part of the track team, that was part of the tent high school, said, hey, bro, you under the wrong tent. You need to get up out of here. Okay. Okay, if you want to go there, if you want to make a confrontation where it don't need to be one, okay, you initiated this. Yeah, the brother sitting up under your school tent, but are you the school? Do you own the bleachers? Are you the police of this situation? Go find a security guard and get them to intervene and say, hey, bro, we got somebody under her tent who don't belong there. Don't take it upon yourself to say, I am the whitey white police of this situation, and you need to get your blackity black tail up out from under our tent. It's not the way this should have went. But we dealing with teenagers, y'all. This is where my understanding and my lived experience comes into play. This 17-year-old approached another 17-year-old and he said, hey, bro, you need to get up out of here. Bruh said, according to reports that I read, bruh said, don't put your hands on me. All right. Now we got a red line drawn in the sand, and I understand it completely as a 2A advocate, bro. You can say what you want. You can call me whatever you want. Some people in my community get so triggered by the N-word. Y'all, that don't bother me at all. Y'all can drop the N-word in the chat right now. If you want to show how ignorant you are on my live stream, drop the N-word in the chat. Ain't gonna bother me one bit. You can calling me the N-word is like calling me a pecan pie. I know I ain't one, so what does it matter to me? It just makes you look stupid. The daddy said race ain't had nothing to do with it. Wasn't no racial slurs slung back and forth. I get it, Pops. I'm glad you put that out there. Let's deal with it for what it is. Your son walked up on somebody who was sitting in the wrong seat. He told him to get up out the seat. The boy said, I ain't moving. You gonna have to make me move. And your son said, oh, okay, I'll make you then. Bruh said, hey, say what you want. Don't put your hands on me. Young Austin Metcalf, full of energy, full of testosterone, said, oh, I'm going to put my hands on you. I'm going to get you up out the way. Bad move. My mama told me keep my hands to myself. Don't touch nobody. And even in this day, you can call me what you want. You can do what you want. You can say what you want. Call me what you want. Don't put your hands on me or it's going to be a problem. And this is where my legal hat comes on and I say, oh, I could defend this case. I don't think it was right. I don't think a boy should have lost his life. No, this is ignorance. This is stupidity on every level. But it's not just stupidity of the boy who stabbed the boy in the chest. It's stupidity on the part of the boy who approached him. It's stupidity all the way around. Everybody dumb. You say, oh, this boy crashed out by stabbing somebody in the chest. No, the boy who crashed out was the boy who lost his life. Why did you give up your life to confront some young dummy? Some young crash out dummy who was willing to take your life over some foolishness, over some statements, over you put your hands on me and try to push me out the way. I'm going to reach in my bag and grab my knife. Because I'm so dumb that I brought a knife to attract me. I need y'all to put it in perspective and understand that there are some folks in the community. There are some young folks, some young black boys, some young dummies who are so uneducated. Okay, because I'm trying to get back to my point. I'm trying to bring it home. I'm trying to land the plane. Thank you. Urban Southern Cookie says the N-word has lost its sting with me too. Long time ago. Bro, listen, you can call me the N-word all you want. It ain't going to have no effect on me at all because I know I ain't one. I can't even really define it good. I look towards history to even create a definition of what the N-word is. But if you want to have a real definition of the N-word, then you need to go over to them folk who created it and find out. Ask them a question. Sit them down on the hot seat and say, hey, why did you create an N-word in the first place? Because before you created it, it really didn't exist, right? Not in the iteration that it existed in America. And let me tell you, y'all, my lineage in this country, on this soil, go back 10 generations. So you can play with it all you want. Y'all can put a label on it all you want. Call it FBA. What's that other one? Somebody dropped it. I forgot it. What's the other one? All right. I ain't seeing it in the chat. We got the FBA and we got the other one. ADOS, that's it. Okay, it came to me. ADOS, that's another one. Every organization is popping up and trying to put their own label on it and say, okay, we can represent this for the people who have been here from the very beginning, so that they can draw a demarcation point between blacks who were here at the beginning of America and those who have immigrated here since, and try to piggyback on the backs of descendants of American slaves. Okay, we get it. Y'all putting some new names on it. I ain't calling myself that, because it's just new blackity blacks trying to put you in a box, trying to get you to follow their lead. We understand what's going on with this. It's all foolishness. But no, that N-word don't mean nothing. You might as well call me an apple. You're going to have to try harder, because I have conditioned myself. And when I talk to your sons and your daughters less frequently, but when I get in the ears of your sons, trying to tell them, bro, don't sweat that stuff. Don't sweat that foolishness. Listen, let me pull up my scripture, because I had it here ready for y'all. And here I am so deep off into the live stream and ain't got to it yet. Listen, Ecclesiastes 7:9 says, be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools. And I know what you're going through. I know what you're dealing with. I've talked to so many of you. I've interviewed so many of you. I've tried to help so many of you. And that pain is in your belly. Your pain is in your heart. The pain is in your mind. It permeates your soul. You can't get over certain things because you watched your mama struggle and your daddy was nowhere around. Seemed like he didn't care. Seemed like he wasn't interested in what you were going through. Seemed like maybe he could have had an answer or two that he could have dropped in your spirit, but he wasn't even around to provide it. Who is this man? Who is this nigga who left me here on my own to figure it out by myself? Sometimes y'all get to be 20, 30 years old and you figure out the answer to that question. Sometimes y'all never figure it out. And it creates this wound that never heals. An open wound that never heals. Can you imagine, y'all? So this is why I look at situations like this and other situations that are similar to this, and I say, man, I understand, bro. You had some situations you were going through, some situations that you hadn't worked out. You had some situations that you needed to deal with that you weren't equipped to deal with. Why? Because you're 17 years old and you can't read. And some of y'all look at me on this platform and you say, well, why do you focus so much on education? Why do you say that civil rights? I'm sorry, let me rephrase. Why do you say that education is the civil rights issue of our time? Because that's what I believe. Because I look at some of these situations and I say, I look at some of these young black boys, some of these young brothers. Listen, let me, before I even go there, Because some of y'all are, no matter what I say, despite what I put before you today, some of y'all gonna say this is a racial issue. Let me tell you something. My name is Gerald. I introduce myself every time I come before y'all. I try to put it out there and tell you I'm not your preacher. I'm not your prophet. I'm not your pastor. I'm not your bishop. I ain't none of that. I ain't your apostle. None of that. I'm just a sinner saved by grace. You want a preacher? You need to go to my father who raised me. He was a pastor in the Church of God in Christ my entire life. You want a pastor? Go to my brother who is currently a pastor. But that ain't the ministry God gave me. So some of y'all who can't figure it out and trying to still understand what angle I'm coming from, I'm just giving you that information so you can deal with it. But I was raised in a multicultural environment such that I had a friend in my youth who was from a wealthy family. I don't know how we connected. And let me even go before that, in elementary school, I had a friend who was a white boy who had the same name as me. He was Gerald, I was Gerald. We connected. We ended up playing on the same community basketball team. And here, as I sit before you, I'm going to cut to the chase. Because there's a whole lot that goes beyond that, behind that you don't even need to know. It ain't important. But here as I sit before you in the 50 club, y'all, never imagining that I would make it to 50. Never imagining that I would have multiple college degrees. Never imagining that I would sit before you on a camera like this and speak to various people. Here I am, a blackity black, talking to you on this internet. You know where my homeboy Gerald is? In prison. How about that? How about that for a twist of fate? How about that for a plot twist? Why am I sitting here and he locked behind bars? He was one of them ones, y'all, who grew up in the hood, who understood, who had a whole hood pass, who was guaranteed admission to the cookout because he was one of us. So much so that he embraced hood culture and hood society to where he is in prison now. He logged on to Facebook maybe, I don't even know at this point. Might have been 5 years ago. He logged on to Facebook and was like, yo, bro, I'm about to give my keys and my wallet to my cousin and walk into this police station and not walk out. We ain't heard from him since. Amazing. A childhood friend. A childhood comrade. He white, I'm black. Ain't the role supposed to be reversed? So when I see people try to inject race into situations like this, it's like, bro, this is foolishness. What are you talking about? Why are you trying to stoke the flames of racism when two families are hurting? One family who has lost their son. He's no longer with us. Another family who has taken the life of another who is going to be locked up for the future. Unforeseeable future, boy. They're going to charge you as an adult at 17. They're going to charge you as an adult in Texas. They're going to put you up under the jail. Now, according to what I've read, they've charged him with first-degree murder. And that's what leads me back to putting on my legal hat, y'all, and saying, don't sound like first-degree murder to me. Where's the premeditation? No, I know premeditation can happen quickly. And they're going to try to argue in court that, no, when he said, don't touch me, and he reached in his bag, that was his time of premeditation. He decided that he was going to kill the boy at that point. Well, there can be an argument made against that, a plausible argument of self-defense, because according to the reports, the white kid put his hands on him first and said, no, you ain't going to move up out from under this tent. I'm going to move you. Oh, we got a problem. Now you done touched me. Thank you, Bernie. You know I love you to life, Bernie. We just out here trying to talk through it. And I wasn't sure if I was going to put it on this platform or put it in the Patreon. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it because I didn't want them folks to feel some kind of way, as they often do. They might not agree with what I'm saying now, but I hope. And that's why I had a prayer, a solemn prayer, a fervent prayer before I clicked the live button, because I wanted to be before y'all and presenting my heart, but not making a misstep where them folks would get triggered because they've been tripping, and it is what it is. But here we are on their platform and putting forth a narrative that I hope that someone can connect with. I hope someone can get it. I hope someone can feel my heart. Let's get back to the rest of this video content. I want to play the rest for y'all. That's not what I want there. Let's see where it is. This is a tough story. It don't matter whether you on the side of the young man who had his life taken, Austin Metcalf, or the other man, Carmelo Anthony, who took his life. We got somebody in the chat who said, no, there was history here between these two. Okay, that will all come out in the wash. That will all come out in the trial. All of that will be vetted. But even still, taking all of that into consideration, all of that, considering all of that, y'all, it still seems to me like this whole narrative was avoidable. Didn't have to happen. A family didn't have to experience a loss. Boy didn't have to crash out. And this is why I focus on the demographic that I focus on, because you got people like Matt Walsh who would get out here and stoke the flames of racism and say, it's racist. These black boys are extra violent. What are you saying? What are you saying? What are you advocating? What are you putting out there in the atmosphere? Oh, they just inherently violent? Let's get beyond the violence, because I believe that what Matt Walsh is advocating, that he coming in at the middle of the book and trying to push a certain narrative. Let's go back to beginning. Let's go back to the introduction. Chapter 1. Where'd all this anger come from? Let's go back to the source. Let's go. If we can uproot the source of the problem, maybe we can solve the problem. But you out here just clipping off leaves, bro. Back in this 10th, 12th chapter, you halfway through the book. Some of these problems have been embedded. The great Frederick Douglass said that it's easier to raise strong children than to repair broken men. You out here talking about broken men. I'm trying to get to the root of the problem. Thank you, Fawnley Green. Thank you for being a part. Appreciate your support. If we get to the root of the problem, we can educate these young men early on such that they are able and equipped to make better decisions. Because you listen, if you're going to tap into where I'm at, you got to understand that this boy made a dumb decision. Why did you even take a knife to a track meet? Excuse me, y'all. Why is a knife at a track meet? And I might go into your psychology. Why do you feel like a knife is necessary at a track meet? I dare y'all to invite me to your function. I dare you to give me an invite to your function. If I take the Glock everywhere I go. And I know I have arguments all the time with folks who ain't Glock boys. I get it. I understand. Listen, I got it on me everywhere I go. But if I feel like I need to have it on your function, at your function, I ain't coming. let's rewind. Let's go back over what I just said, because I need you to get it. I got it on me all the time. But if I feel like I need to have it at your event, I ain't coming. Because that ain't the kind of event I want to be at. I want to be at an event where I feel like I got it, but I don't need it. I can relax a little piece because my life ain't threatened. I ain't pulling it. I ain't doing nothing unless I feel threatened. Unless it's a last resort. I understand the law because I can process these kinds of things, and I need to get these boys to the point where they can process this information. Seem like the devil is getting to them before I can get to them. Right, left, in between. And I know, y'all, I know there are so many other voices out here, voices stronger than mine, voices louder than mine, who are advocating for similar and the same things. And we feel in the same kind of way because we talk behind the scenes and we saying, yo, the devil is getting to him before we can get to him. We stay in prayer, but it feels like we're losing. When we see stories like this, especially stories like this that gain traction. Because you understand, y'all, these types of things happen every day. Why did this story gain traction? Why am I in California, in Northern California, hearing about a story in little bitty Frisco, Texas? Somebody wanted me to hear about it. Somebody pushed it to me. Somebody promoted it because they wanted a certain narrative to be out there. Well, young black men crash out like this every day. But I want you to know that there are older black men out here trying to do the work, trying to put out a different narrative, trying to steer them in a different direction. Y'all, don't lose faith. Don't lose hope. We out here trying to do the work. We're out here trying to get them away from these negative influences that would have a 17-year-old crashing out, throwing your whole life away when you don't even understand life. Boy, I was a father at 16. And I'm going to tell you, when I got the information that I was going to be a father at 15, you think I understood at 15? No, ain't no way. And I'm coming from a 2-parent household. My daddy was a preacher my whole life. I had a stable upbringing, and I was still about to crash out. AJ Girardi says, I ain't losing hope. Thank you, AJ Girardi. You inspire me. These boys need some hope. And in many circumstances, they don't see it in their lives. They don't have examples of it. You go to churches these days, ain't no kids in there. Ain't no teens in there. Ain't no men in there. Let's just be honest. Ain't no men in there. I'm talking about the black church, the blackety black church. You walk in there, ain't nothing but middle-aged women who done showed out, and they husbands and they boyfriends and they baby daddies done left them, and they ain't got nothing but Jesus left, so they off in the church house. The baby daddy ain't in there. Your husband ain't in there. Where the black men at? Where the kids at? Where the boys at? That's what we dealing with, y'all. Let's see if we can get through this. There's some things in this that I wanted to get to that I didn't get to. Some things that I wanted to point out that I didn't point out. But I don't want to stress you out here too long. We already been on here an hour and a half. But I'm glad I got that Bible scripture in there because that's something that stuck out to me. I'm glad I got Matt Walsh out there because that's something that stood out to me. So unfortunate. Here we go, y'all.
Deadly stabbing at a high school track meet.
Since 5 o'clock, Frisco police released the arrest report that details the moment officers arrived at the scene. The arresting officer writes, when he reported he had an alleged suspect, the officer said Carmelo Anthony said he did it. According to the arrest report, the tragic event began with the suspect sitting under another team's tent as rain fell and being told to move. A witness told police Anthony immediately opened his bag and reached in, telling the victim, "Touch me and see what happens." When the victim pushed him, witnesses say Anthony pulled a knife from the bag and stabbed Austin Metcalf in the chest. The murder suspect reportedly asked police on the scene if what happened could be considered self-defense and asking if the victim was going to be okay. Maria Guerrero takes a closer look at the case and the grief in Collin County.
Facing 5 to 99 years in prison if convicted, Carmelo Anthony no longer appearing as emotional as he did after being arrested in the stabbing death of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf.
They were twins, identical twins, and his brother was holding on to him, trying to make it stop bleeding, and he died in his brother's arms.
The horrifying scene playing out Wednesday morning during a district track meet with over 100 student athletes participating. Frisco police say Anthony, a Centennial High School student, stabbed Metcalf, a Memorial High School student, during a fight. The victim's family says Anthony was told he was sitting in the wrong spot and that the teens did not know each other.
So a 17-year-old boy, Austin Metcalf, was recently unalived by another 17-year-old boy at a track meet. First and foremost, rest in peace to him. But what the internet is doing with this case is particularly heinous. It's the same thing that y'all did to Laken Riley. When it comes to the unaliving of white people who is deemed undeserving of being unalived, rightly so, right? This Austin Metcalf was 17. He was a student. I mean, he did nothing wrong. People shouldn't be wrongfully, randomly unalived and aggressed, regardless of whatever the scenario is, unless it's some situation of self-defense. But this wasn't that. But the outrage around the death of white people not deserving of being unalived is often fueled by this racist behavior that demands that the entire community be held responsible for the actions of someone who happens to be in a certain BIPOC community. And this energy is oftentimes not reciprocated when it comes to random white people doing the very same crime.
Some white people want to be oppressed so bad. Let's talk about it. There's a young man named Austin Metcalf, 17 years old, just recently got unalived at a track meet by a young man named Carmelo Anthony. Absolutely no relation to the basketball player. And there are brain dead napkin Americans, enemies of the sun, with the caucasity to say, oh, where's the national outrage? Oh, he died in his twin brother's arm. This is such a tragedy. Oh, where are the marches? Oh, where are the protests? Oh, we're not burning down cities. The young man was caught immediately. And I'm sure he's going to face the swift hand of justice. But y'all want to take part in the oppression that you all created so bad that you will break your measly arm reaching for a situation that's not even analogous to the BS point that you're trying to make. And most of you are not even saying the young man's name. To the family of Austin Metcalf, I hope you get the peace that you deserve and the justice that you so rightfully deserve.
And like a lot more racism, like a lot more, and I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. This is exactly what I'm talking about whenever I say that, like, we're going back in time. And I literally, every time I have like conversations like this with somebody, I always make sure to bring this up because it's so out there in the open. Like, people just don't care anymore. They really don't care. And it's honestly just so upsetting that people have taken this situation about a boy who died and used it to justify their racist tendencies. And you guys should be ashamed. Like, I'm not defending the kid who stabbed Austin or whatever, like, whatsoever. Like, that's never the answer. But I'm seeing people in these comments being like, oh, you know, like, just basically stereotyping Black people and like saying all these horrible things about them. And it's just like, what? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing genuinely? And I'm also seeing people say like, oh, you know, if somebody did this to a Black kid, like, there would be protests everywhere. Da, 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 da. No, I really don't think there would have been. Like, literally, people are still using what happened with George Floyd and the aftermath of that as an excuse to hate on Black people to this day. And it's so disappointing. Like, every time I go on Twitter, I still see somebody making fun of George Floyd, and I never thought that shit was funny. It was never funny. It was never funny. I don't care what. And people try to use the fact that he was like a drug addict or whatever to justify the racism as well. Like, what? Like, but yeah, I definitely don't think there would have been any protests. like at all.
As a parent of a 14-year-old boy and an older man who's now making his own way in the world, I just can't imagine how you're facing the rest of your life without your son. I wanted to ask you this question. I know, 17 years old and amazing. And he was an amazing kid too. We'll get you to speak about him in just a moment. But I think a lot of people at home are saying, wait a second, how does this happen? He goes to a track meet on Wednesday and is murdered. What happened?
I wish I had all the answers. The answer is my son is gone and he'll never come home again. I want to clarify something right off the start because I've already heard some rumors and gossip. This was not a race thing, and this is not a political thing. Please do not comment if you do not know what happened. Do not turn this into a racial thing. It was not. Do not politicize this. It's not. This is a human being thing. This person made a bad choice and it affected both his family and my family forever. It's a very unfortunate thing, but I know exactly what was happening. His brother was there who tried to save him and he died in his arms. So if you weren't there, please don't spread rumors.
And there you have it, y'all. A tragedy. Young man lost his life. Young man threw his life away in the same instance, in the blink of an eye, in seconds. One man lost his life. Another man threw his life away. I echo the sentiments of the father. Strong sentiments saying, hey, don't make this a racial issue. That ain't what this was. Don't listen to these voices in the news who try to steer you in a certain direction. Don't listen to these voices on social media who try to pull you in a certain direction. This was not a racial incident. I'm the father of the lost, and I'm telling you, it ain't racial. But understand when you look at stories, y'all, that cover this and other stories similar to it, if they can keep us fighting each other, if they can keep us at each other's throats, well, we will be so distracted with each other that we can't even pay attention to what they're doing when they're stealing trillions of dollars from the government. When they're doing all sorts of nefarious activities around the world. As long as they can keep us at odds with each other, we ain't paying attention to what they doing. So there are forces who intentionally will take a story like this that is, listen, don't misunderstand me. This is a tragedy any way you look at it. I'm just telling you that I understand it from a certain perspective because I used to be a young black knucklehead. So don't look at me a certain way when I try to focus on them and try to make for a better situation in that demographic. Because they need help. Because somebody should have told this young boy, this young bull, this young buck, you don't need no knife at a track meet, bro. You don't even need it. What are you doing? If you need to take a knife to the event, then that's an event you don't need to be at. If you need to take the pole to a party, that's a party you don't need to be at. What you doing there when you feel like you need a pole just to be there? I'm just trying to be a voice. I'm just trying to be a witness. I'm just trying to be an example. And that's why I'm before you today on this platform, because everybody who knows me is looking at me saying, bro, what are you doing? This ain't you. I'm a wallflower, y'all. I'm an introvert. I'm the person who is going to stand against the wall. I'm the person who's going to sit back and read a book and ingest some information and watch the news and say, I want to soak in as much information as I can because I'm trying to push my brain to the limit. Y'all done told me in the classes that I sat in and the tests that I done took, y'all done told me that I can't fill up my brain if I tried. I'm like, you know what? I'm just crazy enough to test your theory. And I'm going to try. I'm going to read as many books as I can. I'm going to ingest all the information as I can. I'm going to be as smart as I can. And put that secular intelligence with spiritual intelligence and say, God, have your way. What can I become? What would you have of me, God, if I make myself the best I can spiritually, physically here on earth? If I make myself the best that I possibly can physically here on earth, and I lean on you, God, for spiritual intelligence to make me the best that I can be spiritually, what could I possibly become? I'm willing to take that ride. I'm willing to walk that path. And the crazy part is, this is the crazy part, because this is the part that I never would have anticipated in my own life in a million years. I never would have thought. But I'm willing to walk that path in front of this camera and say, this is what it is, y'all. We're going to advocate for certain things. We're going to promote certain things. We're going to speak certain things that are not as though they were. Because we understand that greater is he that is within us than he that is within the world. We understand it. We look at it from that perspective, understanding that we are spiritual beings that inhabit physical bodies, not physical beings that just grab a hold of a spirit. No, that's not how this works. Excuse me, y'all. I'm sorry. I'll get quicker on the mute button as I move forward. I promise. I don't mean to put that in your ear, but I appreciate you all for rocking out and at least going through this story with me. This is a tragedy. A boy that took another boy's life, and 17, okay, they both the same age. This is boy versus boy. Don't try to put man on it just because he dark-skinned with some crazy looking twist in his head. He's a boy. And he killed another boy. Based on the facts that I've heard, the other boy put his hands on him and tried to physically move him out of his space. Well, nope. Not even gonna put it out here on them folks' platform. Y'all, you can meet me in the Patreon and ask me to finish that statement if you want to, and we can talk about it more there. Link is in the description as well as in the chat pinned to the top. I thank you all for being a part of this live stream today. I thank you all for hanging out with me for a couple hours. Y'all, we done made it to a couple hours. What is going on? Excuse the raspiness in my voice and the coughs and all of that we have had to get through today. It is spring on the West Coast. Y'all, in Northern California, spring has sprung. I'm taking my allergy medicine. I'm out here. I'm taking my eye drops before I go live. I'm trying to do everything I can to make the best presentation I can before you all. You know why? Because I love you all. And it is incredible to me that each and every one of you even tune in to see what I have to say on a regular basis. I love it. I am still astonished by it that folks would even tune in to hear me postulate and pontificate on certain topics. This one right here, Y'all listen. This one right here, I had to pray before I went live. I had to beseech God before I went live because there were some things I wanted to say on here that I thank God that he wrapped a lasso around my tongue and wouldn't let me even put that before y'all because I didn't want y'all to feel a certain kind of way. But we are all spiritual beings. We all bleed red. We all need to understand each of our existence and humanity in this space. And we all need to give each other some love, some patience, some understanding. Even if we different colors, we need to give each other some understanding. Listen, if you are blackity black, have you ever had a whitey white at your dinner table? If you're a whitey white, have you ever had a blackity black at your dinner table? And there's a whole lot of shades in between blackity black and whitey white. And if you stay here long enough, I'm sure you're going to get a piece of what I think about all of that. Hopefully, you agree with me that it's all even keel. We all even. We dish it out equally. Whether you blackity black, whitey white, or anywhere in between, you're going to get that business. You're going to get that work. I hate this story. I hate that I had to bring it to you. But I hope someone was blessed by the presentation, knowing that. Even though you got voices out here on social media who are trying to stoke the flames of racism, even though you got voices out here who are trying to advocate for certain things, I hope you can see through all the fog and the foolishness and say, I can see God through all this. The daddy said, ain't no racism in this. You got people trying to put racism in it. Ain't no racism in this. This is what the daddy said who has lost his boy. You think I'm going to follow a YouTuber, a social media influencer over a father who lost his boy? The daddy's boy saying, bro, don't put that in this mess. That ain't a part of this. And if you put it in here, I'm just seeing you as a propagandist. I'm seeing you as an opportunist. I'm seeing you as someone who is trying to use this situation to bolster your position on social media. No, I side with the father. And that's interesting. I like the way that sounds because not only do I side with the father, but I side with the father. And that's where we at on it. That's why I prayed before I made this presentation. There were some things I wanted to say that I didn't say. There were some things I wanted to present that I didn't present. But I hope that you, in this live, felt my heart. I hope that you understood where I was coming from, understanding that I've been in certain places in my life. Some folks say, look, don't talk about nothing until you walk a mile in their shoes. Listen. I've walked more than a mile in certain shoes. And because of my faith, because of my belief, because of my upbringing, because of my education, I was able to shed those shoes, throw them to the side, and brandish new shoes. Brandish a new perspective. Take a new road in life. And all I'm trying to do is tell these young guns, these young bulls, that you can do it too. I ain't special. Ain't nothing special about me, bro. Listen, bro. I've been where you been. I've made mistakes that you made. Ain't nothing special about me. I just made certain choices. based on the intervention of the Holy Spirit. There, but for the grace of God, go I. If I can share that to you, if I can impart that upon you, if I can get you to make better decisions, if I can get you to embrace education, y'all don't understand how important education is in this whole scenario, in this whole equation. It is education. Because if you are smart, you will make better decisions. If you make better decisions, you will have better outcomes. If you have better outcomes, the trajectory of your life will be better. You will be a better person. You will be a better soul. You will be a better example. And we in an age where we really need it. Y'all thought it was heavy in the 60s. I've studied, y'all. I've read a history book or two. Y'all thought it was heavy in the 60s where they was talking about each one, teach one. No, it is important now that people who have learned come out and make an example of their learning. And that's why we depend on y'all. Listen. Let me get this out. Let me get this out before I check out of here, y'all. I'm about to check out, but listen. Y'all need to check in with people who are making an example of their experience and saying, each one teach one. If I'm talking, listen, I look at my demographics. I understand what's going on. I understand the shift that is taking place on this channel. If y'all are in the 50 above club and y'all listen to me and saying, amen, amen, Brother Gerald. No. That ain't what this is about. I need y'all to take the information and share it with someone in the 20 club, in the teens club, and say, look here, young buck. Look here, young bull. Look here, young lady. I need you to be a lady, not a thought, not ratchet, not putting yourself out here in ways that you won't be able to take back in the future. When a man is looking for a wife, he won't look to you because you have put yourself out on Beyonce's internet in a certain way. Papa Dodd, I see you in the chat. I can't recognize everybody, but I thank y'all for being here. I thank y'all for being a part. I thank y'all for supporting. Thank y'all for rocking out. AJ Droddy in the building, Farley Green in the building. Some folks had to check out early. I'm on here for a long time. I understand this is longer than usual, but I'm here for a good time and not a long time, so let me get up out of here. But Farley Green in the building, John Appleseed in the building. Happy Mac, thank you for being here. Everyone who was a supporter of this channel for this live stream, Urban Southern Cookie, our moderator. Bernie Miranda, our moderator. Amethyst Angel, our moderator. We had the mods rocking out with us, y'all. Salaptor, a moderator. Thank y'all for being a part. Come and join us on the Patreon. The link is in the description and pinned to the top of the chat. Hope y'all got a little something from this, because I'm recoiling right now. I don't know if y'all see it on cam. Maybe some of y'all who have followed me for some time are understanding what's going on right now, but I'm just pulling back because I can go on this topic for another hour or two. Another hour or two. Another hour or two, because this is what I focus on. This is what is heavy on my heart and on my mind. This is what God has given me to share with the world. And when I log on to this camera, introvert as I am, I understand it. Listen, that's not a sign of weakness, y'all. That's just a sign of understanding, a sign of self-awareness. I understand who I am. I understand my weaknesses and strengths. I'm in tune with self. I'm in tune with the spirit. I'm in tune with God. Bernie Miranda says things are looking up. Yes, Bernie, things are things are looking up. Y'all pray for this family who has lost a loved one, because I can't imagine losing one at 17. That would be devastating. A twin at that. An identical twin who lost his life. And another family who is losing another one to the system. Y'all gonna lose him. He gone. Based on the evidence I've seen, based on the reporting that I've seen, he already admitted that he did the deed. They have charged him with first-degree murder. I don't think it's first-degree murder, but premeditation can happen in an instant, y'all. You got two families who are affected. And as the story grows viral, as the story is reported on by people like me, way out here on the West Coast who report on things like this, other people are going to get involved. Other people are going to get invested in the story. Pray for everyone involved. Pray for everyone who touches the story. Pray for everyone who opines on this story. Pray for the parents who share this story with their teenagers and try to use it as a mechanism of encouragement and information to tell their kids, don't do this. Whatever you do, next time you go to a track meet, don't do this. Don't take a knife. Why you got to take a knife? What are you doing? If you got to have a knife, a blade, a self-defense mechanism, maybe that's somewhere you don't need to be at 17. Learn from these mistakes. It means one thing to learn from your own mistakes. That's one thing. That's one level. That's surface level. But if you want to get to the level above that, the level of wizardry, then you learn from the mistakes of others. You say, well, I'm glad I didn't have to go through it. I saw you go through it. I tracked your story. I internalized the narrative, and I learned from your crash out. And it's a wonderful thing because I didn't have to crash out in order to learn the lesson. Y'all, that's what we're dealing with in this story. I thank each and every one of y'all for rocking out with me today. I hope that each and every one of y'all learned something. This is a Friday, y'all, and we know how Fridays go. We're here on the YouTube, on Them Folks platform. We're here on the X platform. We're doing some new things here. Y'all want to get with us, want to rock out with us, want to connect with us and further the conversation, then join us on Patreon. The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Join us. Some of the same moderators you see here are moderators on Patreon, and we're going to launch that Discord server next week, y'all. It's going to be crazy. Discord is going to be something else because it's going to really allow us to connect, to talk, and have audio chats and discuss things with each other in an audio platform and a video platform. And we're going to be able to sit down and watch videos together and conversate amongst ourselves on what we feel about certain things. I hope y'all tap in. I hope y'all opine on certain subjects because I want to learn from you as much as you want to learn from me. I tell these young bulls all the time, I sat in the classroom so you don't have to sit there. I took the test so you don't have to take them. Lean on me. Allow me to be a resource. And I wish that this young man here, Carmelo Anthony, having nothing to do with the basketball player, y'all, he was just named after him, I'm assuming. I wish that you would have reached out to somebody like me who would have told you, bro, don't take no knife to a track meet. And if you feel like you need to, then don't go. That's not a place you want to be. It's not a place that you belong. Because let me tell you something, had you been sitting under that umbrella trying to hide from the rain and saying, oh, this ain't my team, but I'm just trying not to get wet, and somebody walked up to you and started putting hands on you and pushing on you, Bernie, listen, Bernie, listen, Bernie, had he dusted him off with them fisticuffs, had he gave him a 2-piece or 3-piece or 4-piece, I'd have been okay. Because that's what we used to do back in the day. That was legit. Okay, I'm going to dust you off, bro. You're going to feel me in this moment. You're going to understand not to put your hands on me. But we're in a different time in this country. We're in a different time in this world. This man, this boy, this 17-year-old put his hands on somebody, said, oh, you ain't gonna move, I'm gonna move you. And this other 17-year-old said, no, you're not, bro. If you touch me, it's gonna be a problem. And indeed, it was a problem, physically, spiritually. And it became something that these families are going to have to deal with. And I wish I didn't have to report on it. I wish we didn't have to talk about it. But I hope that somebody in the chat, I hope that somebody under the sound of my voice will take this live and share it with a young bull and say, bro, check out this dude who on the internet who trying to advocate for a certain thing. There are more dudes like him. There are more voices like him. I wish you could tap into the situation and understand that there are blackity blacks out here trying to make a better situation for those that come behind us. Y'all, we're going to continue the conversation. We're going to continue to move it forward. If you want to be a part of that, meet me in the Patreon. The link is in the description and at the top of the chat, pinned to the chat. We will continue what we have started here. May God bless it. In Jesus' name, I appreciate you all for being a part of this live stream on this afternoon. It is 2:08 p.m. in the afternoon on the West Coast. I love you all to life. I thank you for rocking out with me just for a couple hours. I've had fun. I've enjoyed it. I didn't get out everything I wanted to get out, but we'll get it out in the Patreon. I'll see you there. I love you to life. I thank you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you on the next one.